Euphoria.
If I could be a different person, I promise you, I would. Hey, I'm Rue. I'm an addict.
I hate everyone else in the world but you.
At that moment, I decided to at least try and change. And I know it all may seem sad. I didn't build this system. Nor did I fuck it up. And everything you feel.
What the fuck?
And wish.
We shouldn't be together.
And want to forget.
Yeah, she's a whore. Fact.
All just sinks. These feelings were fixed and constant and would never end for the rest of my life. This is so depressing.
And now it's time to talk about one of the best TV shows of this year, Euphoria. And I can hear a noise that I believe it's the internet breaking again. And I know what's causing this, and it has a name. Zendaya! Hello, Zendaya!
Hi, how are you?
And welcome to you too, Sam Levinson. How are you, man? Zendaya, you were awarded for your performance on the episode 3 of the first season of Euphoria, when Rue is very vulnerable about her feelings towards Jules and goes to her friend and dealer Fez for a fix, but is turned away.
So, yeah. I know a lot of you probably hate me right now. And I get it.
Fez, open the fucking door, please. I'm begging you, just open the door. You're full of shit, man. You're a fucking dropout drug dealer. Open the door! If you gave a shit about me, you did this to me. Ah! Come on, man!
That scene is so strong and heartbreaking. Do you remember how the shooting of that scene was and how different or similar it was compared to the day you first read the script?
Yes, I remember that day like it was yesterday. Partially because it was a very, very long day. I was out there crying for maybe like, I don't even know. It must have been like 6 hours. It was it
like
could have
eight.
It could have been more.
It was 8 hours.
It was a long day. But I was terrified about that scene from the moment that I read it, but also very, very excited. I mean, I think it's in the script, it was such a powerful moment, and I just wanted to do the best job I could, but that was also terrifying because I knew what a moment like that would require. So I was very scared, very nervous to see if I could actually handle that on the day, and it wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't an easy day. I relied heavily on Sam to get me through and to just get me wherever I needed to go and stay there for such a long time. But I have a good group of people around me, so I'm very lucky.
How was it to meet Rue again?
Oh, it was the best. I missed her very, very much. I haven't been able to be so close to Rue since we wrapped the last season, and I just was waiting until like literally the day we wrapped. I was like counting down the days until I could come back, and due to everything that's happened, you know, we had to kind of stop the season before it got to the second season before it kind of got started. But in many ways, I think it led us to these beautiful episodes that I'm really proud of. And Sam has, you know, taken Euphoria to just, I think, another level and seeing it in a new way. And I'm grateful too that we got these beautiful pieces out of all of this.
Well, Mr. Levinson, still talking about this special episode. It was recorded during this pandemic, right? So my first question is, how different was it? Having less people on the set made it more like intimate?
Yeah, I don't know if it was more intimate because, you know, you've got face masks and face shields and stuff like that, and you're always trying to not get close to anybody. So it's a little, I don't know, you know, it was definitely different. Intimate would not be the word that I would use for it. But I think the episode in and of itself is a more intimate episode. And that's kind of what the restrictions of COVID put on the production and the show, which I don't know, I think gave us an opportunity to do something sort of markedly different with the show that we probably wouldn't have been able to do otherwise, which is this kind of portrait of these two characters sitting at a diner on Christmas Eve talking about life and regrets. But I'm really proud of the work that we did, and we did it safely, and we have an incredible crew. I almost burst into tears when I saw everybody again for the first time, because it really is a family. And being back on set, even under the kind of strange conditions that we were, was it was pretty wonderful.
Mr. Levinson, Zendaya once said that she believed that each character of the show represents a bit of your own personality. After playing with these characters during the season 1, what can we expect in this special episode set on Christmas time?
It's an episode that kind of takes place between, season 1 and season 2. And it's just sort of a deep dive into both Rue and Ali, and it's tonally different. The mood is different. I'm usually trying to not write dialogue, or I'm cutting dialogue that I write, and just trying to tell the story without words. This is the exact opposite. It's almost all words. But I think it gave us an opportunity to sort of go deeper into the sort of heart and soul of this girl that I think care a lot about. And you sort of look at her humanity, and also the nature of addiction and regret, and trying to get clean when you're younger versus trying to get clean when you're older and you've already lost, a lot. And I think that's the interesting sort of dynamic between the two of them, is Rue's sort of still in the beginning of her life, whereas Ali has lived a life, and they're struggling with the same problems. But Rue's yet to lose that much. She has an opportunity to change, and the decision is hers.
Zendaya, Mr. Coleman Domingo is one of the actors from season 1 that are in this special episode. But before we talk about his part in this, I'd like to address the fact that you were only 5 years old when you first met him. As he said in an interview, is that correct, Zendaya? I believe, do you remember any of this?
Yeah, so Coleman, who is, an absolutely phenomenal, brilliant, just all the amazing words a person could say about an actor. He is, and a human being. He's so talented, and I was so excited when Sam just wrote a thing of just me and him talking, I was like, yes. But yeah, he actually did, I think, a few plays at the California Shakespeare Theater, which is a theater company in the Bay Area where I'm from, that my mom used to work at when I was just a little one. So he would perform, and I guess I met him probably several times. I was like this little curly headed kid running around playing with sticks and watching the shows, and drinking hot chocolate in the back of the theater. And yeah, he remembered me, and he remembered my mom, which was cool. So it's crazy how things kind of connect and come full circle in life, really. So it was a very cool thing to find out.
Sam, now jumping back to Rue's story, Ali is seen as some kind of a savior to her. Without any spoilers, what can you tell us about his part here after the way the season 1 ended?
Well, I think Ali sees helping Rue as a way of making up for some of the mistakes that he made in his life. And I think, it's always that thing, and I think it's particular to people who have struggled with addiction, is once you get clean and you're on the other side of it, you start to realize, okay, how can I leave this earth doing a little more good than I started with? Because it's, he's got regrets, and I think a lot of addicts do and stuff. So I think he wants to make a difference, and he wants to kind of get her to stop bullshitting herself, and look at what the sort of honest problems are that she's dealing with, and not sort of duck it or run away from it, but to confront it.
And besides all the heavy scenes, it looks like the cast and crew managed to become very close friends. How do you guys manage to leave the tension of the scene and move on to the next one?
I think it's different for each of us, but I think for me, at least, I think just having that support is so important, you know, the environment that's created on set. And I think that comes from the top, which is, you know, Sam, our captain, you know, really making an environment where people feel not only happy to go to work, but they feel safe and people are friendly and really just feels like a safe place to be able to explore and go to these really tough places. There's been times where, like, you know, I had these tough scenes and I hear sniffles, you know, coming from around the set, which means it wasn't just me, you know, going through the scene. I had a crew of people going through the scene with me. And there's this kind of support system that everybody shows each other. And I think that, to me, is how you're able to get through the scenes, get past the scenes, because people check on you. And, you know, if they see you at craft service, like, you good, you know, everyone just is really, really great with that. And I think that environment allows for all of us to really get through all the crazy stuff that we all have to do.
Sam, you said earlier that Euphoria was some kind of therapy for you, especially Bruce's story that you based on your own personal experience fighting addiction and depression as a teenager. Why did you decide to make this new episode now instead of saving this story for season 2?
Well, I mean, I might still be fighting depression. You know, that's not always in the past. Ebbs and flows. But I missed Rue. I missed our cast. I missed our crew. Part of what got me, you know, through, you know, some of the last year was trying to figure out what ways we could be inventive and still be safe, and how we can overcome the sort of obstacles that the world has sort of placed upon us. To tell stories. It was just a matter of trying to be safe, trying to be inventive, trying to work within the restrictions. You know, we were shooting this episode in, I think, 1/5 of the normal time that we shoot an episode in. It meant that, you know, it placed a great deal of responsibility on the actors as well to have like 12, 15 pages memorized at a time. And I don't know, I just didn't want to wait that long for the show to come out. It just felt depressing. So we wanted to do something that people would enjoy. And, you know, hopefully they do.
Zendaya, I feel like I have to ask you all about Barbie Ferreira, our Brazilian representation on the show. Is she teaching you guys something about our culture? Does she like to talk about Brazilian fans and how excited they are about the show?
Barbie is incredible. She's so talented. There's nobody that could be Kat and do what she does with that character. I think she's incredibly talented. So that's one. But yes, no, she's very proud of her Brazilian culture. And she, to my knowledge, she speaks fluent Portuguese, which is really cool. I would love for her to teach me some things because I do not know another language, which is sad and my bad. So yes, Barbie, please hit me up with the lessons because I just think that's so cool. And I know that her mom is also a chef, so they get down with that too. So
Zendaya, you sing and dance on episode 8. It's one of my favorites. Maybe some people who were learning about your work at that moment never heard you singing before. And people who knew you could sing, probably they were not expecting a musical act like that. Did you know about that sequence when you signed for this role? And can you expect more of that?
No, I thought he was joking. You know, he said, I want to do a musical number. And I was like, that's funny, Sam. But he wasn't joking. But like I said, if there's anybody that I would do a musical number for, it would be Sam Levinson. So, you know, he'll always find a way to make it something special, and I trust him in that sense. So if he ever decides to do it again, we'll see.
Let's talk about Labyrinth. Sam, how did you get to know his work? And Zendaya, how was your collaboration with him?
I got to know Labyrinth through a friend of mine who's also our music supervisor on the show, along with Jim Malone, but it's Adam Lieber. And, you know, he's known Labyrinth for a long time, and he was playing me his music. And as soon as I heard it, I just knew that he would be able to kind of get inside the souls of these characters because there's such a kind of playfulness and creativity and kind of fantasia, and God, did he give this show wings. So very grateful to him.
Yeah, he's so special. I mean, I was lucky that I was able to sing on his song. I was nervous to have to tackle it because his version and his way of doing it was so damn good that I was like, all right, well, let me see what I can do, because wow. But yeah, I mean, he blows me away. Even sometimes I just listen to the soundtrack if I'm really, you know, in my Euphoria feels and need to, like, you know, reminisce for a moment. You know, it really, he has created a sound that I've never heard before. So yeah, I was very lucky to kind of be able to work with him.
Thank you, Zendaya. Thank you very much, Sam Levinson. It was a pleasure to have you here, and I hope next time you do come to Brazil.
Would love that. Thank you so much for having us.
And now we have something special.